Hi friends, my name is Carina and I'm here with Pilates of San Diego. We're going to work our lower body today. If you do have a set of weights, you'll be able to incorporate them in some of the lower body work. But for now, just meet me on your mat wherever you have some space at home. We'll start with a nice body weight squat. As you come down, I want you to reach those arms in front of you, finding that connection from your fingertips all the way down to the sit bones, reaching down and then pulling yourself back up. Okay, as you reach down, you really have to make sure you're engaging the core so you're not arching the back. And it's tricky here if you want to start to favor one leg over the other. Just starting to warm up that body. If the arms are just a little too much for you, feel free to bring them to prayer, right? To a position that works better for you. Maybe even to your hips if you prefer to not move the arms. And here you can try to sink a little lower every single time. Pulling that chest up and out, squeezing the glutes at the top. Pushing those hips in the direction that you face. Next time you're down, I'd like you to stay down in your deep squat, no matter if your arms are out or if you're keeping them at prayer. Here we go, we just take a little pulse through the lower half. Heavier in the heels, lighter in the toes. Pulsing just for 4. Here for 3. Little 2. And last 1. Go ahead and shake it on out. We'll start on profile, or I'll turn profile. Here I have my left foot grounded on the floor. I'm going to reach back with my right leg. Think of a reverse lunge. As you lower down, that right knee finds that low position, and you come back on up to top, okay? Now, again, right, make sure your hips are pointed in the same direction. You lower down and tap to lift. I want you thinking of that string pulling you from the crown of your head. Instead of diving forward, you want to really think of lifting to the ceiling, right? Lifting to the sky. Focusing on that inhale to lower, exhale to lift. And no big deal if your lunge doesn't have the range on this side. We're just moving the body, getting everything going here. Remember, it's that right leg tapping back, that left knee over that ankle. No arching back. Trying to keep that spine in neutral no matter where you're at in the lunge. Next time you are down in that lunge, I'd like you to stay down. This time we hinge forward. So we lower into our lunge, we lower, and then we hinge. You come back, lower, and hinge. In a sense, you're really bending from the back right leg and pushing forward. Bend the back right leg and push it forward. Okay, so try not to straighten or get out of it. The goal is to stay low and extend. Low and extend. We take just 3 more. We take just 2 more. Last one. You go ahead and reach that right leg in. Tap it in next to your left foot. Little tap, little reach. Tap and reach. Try not to let the upper body round. Think of pulling the shoulder blades back. All of your weight, your body weight, is in the left leg here. Feel that glute fire up. Lighter in those left toes. Tapping in and out. For just 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll come right back on up. We'll shake it on out. I'll flip around just to make sure you guys are doing the other side, but definitely at home, make sure you're switching as well. Here we start by reaching that left leg back for that reverse lunge. Start with a strong shoulder blade connection down and back. Start with the chest lifted, the core tight, that perfect neutral spine that we practice so much. Here we drive that left leg back. You bend that left leg and then you tap to lift. Take your time with the first few. Find that connection of your hips, your hip bones, your hip flexors, facing the direction that you're facing. And notice if this side feels a little bit better. Maybe you have more range. Maybe this is your good side. And remember that crown, right? That crown of the head, that imaginary string pulling you up to the sky versus forward. We will switch directions. Next time you're down. Here we start with the shoulders over hips, then we hinge forward by reaching, bringing your energy to the edge of your yoga mat, bending that back left leg, then shooting yourself forward, staying high on that back right heel. Inhale, exhale. Right, again, try not to straighten the legs or stand out of it. You want to stay low as best as possible as you shift to that 45-degree position. Reaching forward. Reaching forward. Next time you're forward, stay forward and just begin to tap that left leg. That left leg reaches in and out. Shoulder blades back. 100% of your body weight is now in that right side of the body. Little tap, press, little tap, press. Find that connection from your core to your lower back. Find that right knee, push the right knee over the first and second toe. Final 3, final 2, and final 1. Go ahead and shake it on out. When you're ready, we're coming down to the ground. And also, if you do have a weight, it will make it more challenging, a little trickier to use a prop or use an object, but also just because it's adding a couple extra pounds. Maybe you have a 2-pound weight, a 3-pound, a 5-pound, or even heavier. Just kind of judge it with what you have. I start by bringing the weight behind my right knee, okay? No big deal if you don't have a weight. Do everything that I'm doing just without it, okay? We find that connection with our shoulders over elbows, elbows over wrists. Here, instead of sagging into the upper body, you want to actually push away from the ground. You want to really feel that spread position with the arms. Keep that left knee on the floor and just begin to lift from that right side. Okay, notice that you have to press more through the right hand, right, to stabilize the upper body. The focus is on the lower body, but that upper body helps you. The upper body here is your stabilizing portion. It's helping you, it's preventing you from falling flat on your face. Keeping your gaze past your fingernails. Reaching and lifting. Last 2. Staying up on 1. This time I'd like you to just give me small pulses. Up, 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 up. Pulling that belly in. Keeping those hip bones facing the ground or facing the floor. Little pulses right here, just 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can release that weight if you were using it. We actually stay in the same position with our upper body. Now I'd like you to bring the right toes and shoot them behind you. Okay, so now the right leg is long. The left knee is still placed underneath that left hip. Here we begin to lift towards the highest position. Okay, you want to lift and then tap the ground. Lift and tap the ground. Okay, focus on that exhale. Exhaling every single time you lift. If you're looking for a challenge here, I want you to reach your opposite left arm in front of you. As you lift your right leg, you lift your left arm. Maybe that challenge is working for you today, maybe not. If you need to, stay with both arms on the floor and just focus on the lift of that right leg. You're not trying to lift the right leg to arch your lower back. You're trying to lift to squeeze the glute cheek, right? To fire up the hamstring, to get the whole backside working. Now remember, the neck and the shoulders should be pushed back and down. There should be no crunching or dropping of the head. Final 2 movements here. And last 1. Begin to bring that right arm and that left arm down. Here we're going to start to cross. So the right leg crosses back and then back. Now if you're on a yoga mat, you may be able to tap one side of the floor and then the other side of the floor. Keep that pelvic stability in mind. Little tap, little tap, little tap, little tap. For just 4, for just 3. Think of that rainbow position. 2, and last 1. You can go ahead and shake it on out. Roll out those shoulders. You can also lock Block that in your brain. We'll consider that part one. We still have another portion to do, okay? So with that right leg as the working leg, or the harder leg, I'm gonna come down on my left side. So my right leg is still forced to work, okay? So lying down on your left side, you can find that connection of your elbow, or you can even completely release that ear to your bicep. Here you wanna bring your legs in front of you. A little bit different than a clam or a classic sideline series. You want to make sure that your hips are stacked. That's super duper important. We're going to start by lifting that right leg, okay? Pressing firmly into that floor with your right hand, finding that space underneath your lowest rib. You want to lift that right leg without ruining that form, okay? Keep that right leg up, or keep the hips stacked, and think of pushing down and bending that leg. Okay, so here you want to make sure that that space that you've created between your inner thigh is still there. That space you've created underneath your lowest rib is still there. And that hip, that top right hip is connected right on top of your bottom hip. Reaching through that space, pressing and pushing. Next time you bend that leg, keep it bent, and I want you to point those toes. Right leg is going to take small circles. Imagine drawing with your right kneecap, okay? The right kneecap is just drawing on an imaginary piece of paper. The entire leg gets to go. And now go the other way, so reverse the direction. Keep the circles small, control the circles, pull everything in tight. You got lots to think about here. Awesome, and we'll just circle here for 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and lower it down. Maybe pat that right side thigh and side glute out. We'll take the whole thing from the top. Part A, if you used your weight, I would appreciate that you use it again. So this time we bring that weight, if you used it, behind your left leg, behind that left knee, kind of lock it in place. And from here, you can find that connection again. I just turned so you guys could see the working side. You find that connection of your elbow and your shoulder, your elbow and your wrist. That alignment of the chest, the sternum, the upper body matters. Once you're ready here, bring that right knee underneath that right hip flexor and begin to lift. Think of that press, that donkey lift towards the sky. You're just lifting up and down, reaching so strong. Pushing down with the shoulder blades, pulling up through that navel. And notice again that you have to press a little bit more through one arm than the other. It's the side that's always lifting, right? The side that needs that counterbalance. So here we're lifting the left leg with control, but that left hand really has to help us stabilize. That left shoulder really is important here as we focus on the lower half. Every time you lift, you can feel the squeeze of your glute. You can feel that hamstring. Remember, if you don't have a weight, you're doing what we do without it, keeping your heel close as close as possible to your left glute cheek. Next time you're lifted, go and stay to your highest point without arching or sagging into the hips, pulling up through that space, getting that small pulse. Up, 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 and up. Notice where you're holding that tension in the body. Squeezing, keep it very small for that hamstring. Little lift, little lift, little lift, lift for just 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can come on down. Careful if you have that weight. You'll just have to set it aside. We'll take our second portion, readjusting those arms. This time shooting the left toes. Same leg that was the moving, working leg before. This time we straighten that left leg. We inhale to prepare. We exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Now it's okay if you don't have super duper height, okay, with this movement. Right? I don't want to see any kicking. That's just going to hurt your lower back. Right? It's not about kicking or seeing how high you can go. It's about squeezing into that glute, squeezing into that hamstring, finding that extension through the left leg. You should feel the energy through the left toes. You should feel the length through that side. The up and the down matter just as much as one another. If you are ready to bring that right arm, I know probably a couple of you, hopefully at home, took that challenge. It's the opposite arm and that leg. That offers a little bit more core work. We are not as stable in this position. If not, no worries by keeping both arms down and just lifting and lowering through that space. Remember to find that squeeze every time. Final 2. Last one, we get to lift that leg. This time you cross. So you cross it over and then over. Okay? It's just a little rainbow. Think of that tap from one side of the mat to the other. Okay, now you can start to feel a little bit more rotation from that hip, or even more of the side glute, right? The smaller muscles along the side of that thigh. As you tap, you lower with control. No move in the shoulders, right? Or arching or rounding the back. Just go where you can go. As you tap, find that highest position. Not letting that leg fall. Don't let gravity win. Final 4. Tap it out for 3. Tap it out for 2. And last one. You can let that go. Shake it on out. We'll head down to our right side for our sideline work. Again, a little different than classic sideline series. You can come down from your right side. Here you can find that elbow or even that bicep and ear connection. Bring those legs just a tad bit in front of you. This time your left leg should be on top, or your left leg should be closer to the ceiling, okay? You're gonna safely lift that top leg, lifting that top left leg, flexing that left foot. Here you wanna find the connection with your hips staying stacked. Find the small itty bitty space underneath your lowest right rib. And from here you begin to press and bring it right back in. You can always think of pushing, right? Think of pushing something, pushing a wall, or pressing through that space. We're working our extension from our knee joint, our flexion through the knee joint, our extension through the hip, and our flexion through the hip as well. Now, it's super duper important to not lower the leg, right? You want to keep it on the same plane. So as you come in, as you push out, the leg's not going up or down. We're staying in that same level that's doable. And your left hand can either be on your hip, can be on the floor. It's stacked. Pressing and pushing, moving to and fro. We do get to bend that leg and keep it bent in just 2. Final 1, let's bend that left leg, point those left toes, and start those itty bitty circles. Now, you can't drop that leg. I know it's so easy to give up, but stay lifted to where you can. Stick with that circle. Stick with that knee, kind of drawing through that space or drawing that imaginary circle on a piece of paper. And when you're ready, we'll take 10 the opposite direction. So go the other way, keeping those hips stacked, breathing through that space. Just 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now you can let it crash and burn. All right, so we're taking a wider position for our bridge today, a little different than what a classic bridge would be. So yeah, if you can, come on down. Coming down to your supine position. When you're ready, externally rotating from those hips, right? Think of your hip joint, it's a ball and socket. So you want to really open up those hips. And today I'm going to take my heels down, my heels on the floor, and my toes up, okay? Here I want you to think of pushing down through both of those heels, keeping the connection of the wide position. Your heels are wider than your pelvis. Pressing down firmly into the floor, pushing the chest open. You begin to crease from the hips as you lift to your bridge, as you lower back down. Now, the first few may feel a little wobbly, but I want you trying to find the symmetry through both your right and your left leg. That also means your right hamstring and your left hamstring. That also means your right glute and your left glute. Exhale to lift. Exhale to lift. Reaching those hips up. Pulling that navel to spine. Okay, now don't slam your hips down. They should barely even touch. Think of more so the tailbone skimming the surface as you lift and lower. Now instead of going all the way down, I want you to put the brakes on even sooner. Let's go ahead and lift halfway down. Lift halfway down. Now if the feet are a problem, you can always modify by keeping them flat, right? If the heel connection to the floor is not working in that dorsiflexion, just go ahead and drop those feet to a flat position and continue that squeeze from there. Squeeze and lift, squeeze and lift, squeeze and lift. Remember, if you ever need a break, just come down and get right back into it when you can. You have 3 more lifts before we start our butterflies. Here for 3, 2. I would like everyone to drop their feet if they were still planted or still lifted. Now you're going to start to internally rotate in and out. In and out. Number 1 rule here, besides breathing, to not drop your hips. Your hips should remain at that same height that you just gave me. Inhale and exhale. Find that internal rotation from your hip joint. Feel the inseams of your leggings or your pants pull together. Feel the inner thighs pull in. Feel the outer thighs reach out. Feel the core stability and push down in that head. We have one more thing to do. It's an isometric static hold. You get to hold that wide position in just 3, 2. If you would like to lift those toes again, press down on those heels, tuck that tailbone, squeeze the glutes, pull the belly in, reach those fingers to the edge of your mat, hold to finish. Final 3, 2, and release it. You can slowly, slowly, slowly come on down. You can also bring your knees into your chest. You can roll out the ankles, breathe in, take a small little rock side to side. Alrighty guys, so just like we started with the squat challenge, we also have the squat challenge to end. It does have a little jumping section at the very, very end, but it is your last big section, okay? So find that standing position again. We actually start by lifting, so 2 feet on the ground, back to parallel, big toe in line with your heel. You can lower down to the squat that you started with, but when you lift, I want you to lift from one leg. So I lower down, and then I lift one leg. Okay, I lower down, and then I lift the other leg. And if you prefer, if you feel more stable, bringing your hands to your hips, make sure you're not compensating from one side to the other, testing your balance, okay, pushing the tailbone behind you, then standing tall as you take that lift from one leg. Now I want you to try to flex your foot as soon as you can off the floor, or as soon as you stand. The second that foot leaves the ground, flex that foot. Tune into your breath. Inhale through the nose as we lower. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lift. Now 4 more singles, alternating whatever side you're on. Keep pulling the chest up, pushing the shoulder blades back. Last one, single. We stay down in that squat position. Now I'd like you to only tap with the right leg. The right leg taps side, side, side. Notice the stability pouring through the left side as the right leg reaches out. This gets easy if you stand up and do it from here. That would not be fun. We want to stay with that challenge. Stay in that lower squat. As you reach, as you tap, as you push. Final 3, 2, and 1. Oops, my watch is talking to me. We'll go right to that left side. 30 seconds, guys. You take that tap, tap. Now again, 100% of your body weight is on that right side. Even if you're going slower or can't tap all the way with that left leg, just go where you can here for just 4, 3, 2, and 1. Plant both feet. We take that body weight squat down, little up. Down, little up. I'm going to show you from the side just so you see I'm not lifting all the way. Down, little up. You can use the arms or you can drop them if you need to. If you prefer to just hold them. Let's take that little lift as a yawn through the backs of your knees and your legs. Inhaling down, exhaling up. Inhaling down, exhaling up. Lighten those toes. Long in that neck. Little down, little up. Little down, little up. Now, no big deal, right? If you're starting to feel fatigued, definitely watch your form. We don't want the knees internally rotating, right? You want the knees to still stay tracking over your first and second toe. As best as possible. Really watch that hip, that knee, all the way down to your ankle bone. Watching that alignment. Now you got that grand finale. Again, it is a little bit of a jump. If that jump is not working for you, I'd prefer you to stay here with that down and up. Bend and stretch. Lowering and lifting. And if you are ready for that finale, I'll face you guys. We take a small jump with those legs. Out, in, out, in. So think of it this way. It's a narrow squat to a wide squat. Narrow, wide. Narrow, wide. You barely have to leave the ground. If that jump is not working for you, ankle issues or knee issues, you are staying with your down, little up, down, little up. Final 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shake it on out. Give those legs a little love. If you can hold on to something, let's bring that quadricep back. If it's a chair or a table, make sure it's stable. Here I'd like you to give a soft bend to your standing leg. And here I would like to emphasize the posterior pelvic tuck. As you rock your hips forward, you drive that belly in. You may feel it a little bit more in that hip flexor down that thigh. So don't worry about pulling that heel all the way in, right? Just hold that foot loosely. Worry about that tuck of the tailbone and go where you can. We'll switch to the other side or the other quadricep stretch. Same thing. If you can hold something light, right? Nothing body weight, but just a little support. And once you have that one foot on the ground, keep your big toe in line with your heel. Soft bend of your standing leg. Find that same posterior pelvic tuck. Don't worry about how tight or how close the heel is coming to your glute. And you can think of really pushing your hips in that direction. And if you can, start to pull that heel a little closer. And we'll take it to the ground for our last seated straddle stretch. Okay, no big deal if you're not super duper wide, but you definitely want your kneecaps up towards the sky. Let's go floppy with the feet, so no flexing, no pointing. You're just gonna see if you can drop down with your elbows. Okay, push your shoulder blades down, palms are down or palms are up. Feel the stretch in your inner thigh. Remember to breathe. Core staying tight here, right? We're still activating the center. And here we'll go ahead and head to our right leg. Try your best to keep the left leg where it is. We don't want it hiking or coming with you. You're just gonna maybe hold your ankle or your shin and just let yourself round over. Think of your chest going down to that thigh. It helps to hold the bottom of your foot, or you can drop your head or your nose to your knee. We'll walk it to the other side, whichever side you did not do. Same idea, the opposite leg is not invited to come along with you. We're just feeling that stretch through the back of the leg, keeping the shoulders down. We'll head right back center. Friendly reminder, it's okay if you cannot get your elbows down, right? No worries, maybe stay lifted or at a higher level. If you kind of feel like you can go a little further, maybe extending those arms, letting that chest lead you to the ground. Deep inhales here, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. You can walk yourself back or slowly roll yourself up. This time let's bend your knees for our seated butterfly. You get to bring the bottoms of your feet together, no matter how close your heels are towards you or your toes are away from you. Make sure it's a place of comfort and it's not forced, okay? You don't want to force that rotation. Now here you can hold on lightly to your ankles. You can push your shoulders down, let the knees fall, let the legs open. We'll take that round position to finish class today. Inhale through your nose, exhale as you round forward, maybe changing the arms or changing the position of the feet closer or further away. And just notice how everything feels different, or what is feeling stiff or sore, what feels better than when you started. You can take that final big breath and slowly roll it up through your spine and let your chin come off your chest. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Once again, my name is Carina with Pilates of San Diego. I hope to see you all very, very soon. But for now, keep holding yourself accountable and definitely try to move your body in some way, shape, or form every single day. Much love. We'll see you soon.